6:29. Preparing to live stream the meeting.
Got it. I do consent to being live streamed, yes.
Oh, did you guys have to consent to that?
Always.
Okay. Okay, it looks like our live stream is up and rolling. It was a little choppy sounding though, and I listened to it for a second, which I hope isn't a bad connection with my internet, but
I don't.
And it's
it's on our Voyageurs YouTube channel.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. If you go to live, if you go to the YouTube channel and you go to live, it should be right there. And actually, it'd be good if we double check that before we really get going, because if we're actually not live streaming,
I've got it up. It's working.
It is working. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris and I forgot to ask you about this before we got going, but if somebody starts inquiring on the socials and says, "Hey, I can't find the live stream," could you direct them to the right location?
We only have 34 subscribers. Am I in the wrong place?
No, we don't have very many subscribers there. Is it Voyageurs Can?
No, I don't think so. This is something else. It just says the Voyageurs.
We have 238 subscribers, so
That's the right one.
Oh, okay. Jamie, the link is in the AGM on the tab on the website.
Right. Okay.
It should be there.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna like.
I wonder what that other channel is.
How do I mute this?
I think we had an old one that's kind of defunct now, honestly.
Hmm.
And nobody's posted to in forever.
18 watching. Or yeah.
And we're 6 of them.
No.
And where are we going? Higher. I'll just give it another minute, just in case people are logging in and whatnot, and then we'll get going. Okay, what do you think? Should we?
Sure.
Okay, let's go. Welcome to anybody who's watching this live. I'm glad you could join us, and likewise to anybody who follows up after the fact and watches it. It's exciting times at the Voyageurs, to be perfectly frank. This is the culmination of 2 solid years of kind of grinding it out by a lot of people, and we're excited to share it with you. This is not going to be the most exciting information in the world, but it's stuff that we really need to do to get ourselves organized and have all of our official boxes ticked as we need to do as a nonprofit. My name is Rob Notenboom. For people that don't know me, I suspect that if you're actually tuning into this, we have met. And you've probably met most of the other people that are in the meeting. Not everybody in the meeting is going to speak necessarily. Sean Mann is going to speak because he has to talk about the financials. Everybody else, if they feel like they need to chip in, they're going to chip in. I'll be doing most of the talking. And we'll try and keep it as succinct as possible, as purposeful as possible, and then get everybody back to their Monday night as soon as we can. Our first order of business is to say some thanks to people. In particular, we want to say thanks to Trevor Dorsey, who's been doing a ton of shipping. And that eventuality has really changed our ability to get stuff out in a timely manner. I don't know. I think we've probably sold more merchandise over the last 2 years than maybe the previous 10. I'm just guessing, but and sent out membership packages, and all of those things have been sufficiently helped by him. Mark Hinckley has been doing a great job designing, and he continues to, and Annie Hart as well. They both designed a lot of our t-shirts and scarves, and also banners that go up in the stadiums. We wouldn't be where we were without those guys. Over the last 2 years, we have had more local events go on than ever as well. And people who have volunteered to be local organizers in their city or town have carried such a load and gotten the word out to so many more people than we could have reached just amongst ourselves. And that's been great. Anybody that's helped organize a local event, thank you for that. And just in membership in general, our previous to this year, our first round of paid membership was significantly exceeded our expectations. It's still going pretty strong. We have membership renewal going on right now. So we're about halfway to where we were pre-renewal. So all of that's very good. Two other individuals who you're going to hear a lot more about today. Lucas Timmons has volunteered to be the editor of the newsletter, and that's forthcoming. It's not quite there yet, but we're darn close on having the first newsletter. And Rob Rutledge has volunteered to chair the membership committee. We're going to tell you how to get more involved with those things at the end of the meeting. So there'll be some more stuff about volunteering at the end. I'd like to share with you a quick overview of the last 2 years. And I'm going to make it very brief, because if I went into all the stories that have happened in the last 2 years, we could go on forever, ever and ever. Jamie convened this group basically to take us from a situation where everything was mostly run by him to a situation where we had an elected board of directors and whatnot. He formed this kind of loose admin team. It's mostly been 8 of us, and those 8 have been kind of handling all of the duties in the last 2 years. It took us longer than we figured it was going to, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that our teams performed so well, and then there was suddenly so much other work to do besides the things like writing bylaws and doing elections and governance and those kinds of things. So on this broadcast right now, of the originals are myself, Kristen, Knowles, Alex Ho, and Nikki Cotty. Also Aubrey Lustig, Matt Serson, and James Covey originally helped out, and Sam Gregory and Ben Wolf also helped out a little bit. And you'll notice I didn't mention Sean Mann. Sean is going to take over treasurer position, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit as to who is going to be doing what roles, but he'll be delivering the financial report tonight. As per usual, Jamie's been doing a little bit of everything. Aubrey was mostly working on finance. Matt and Al have done a lot of work on governance and elections. That's been really important. Kristen, of course, you see her on communications all the time. Nikki has been working a lot on local organizing committees, all sorts of different game day lists and organization, very important as well. And James has had lots of life eventualities kind of pull him in and out. So he has contributed in a lot of smaller ways. But I like to think that he's also just kept us laughing because he's a pretty funny guy. And he couldn't be here tonight because of a combination of being on the East Coast. It's getting late there and having some work overload. So he isn't on the broadcast tonight. Hopefully he gets to check this out later. So that's parts 1 and 2. Part number 3 is our financial report, and Sean's going to take that over for a few minutes. So go ahead, Sean.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rob. Just a quick intro. My name's Sean Mann. As Rob mentioned, I'm a longtime Voyageur. I'm based in Edmonton, Alberta. Happy to be on board, and I'll be taking over finance from Aubrey. I'm going to jump right in here. I'm going to share my screen, so I just can get a thumbs up from somebody on our team here if you can see my screen. And I'll try to save everyone from the boring accounting nuance and just try to speak in plain terms here, and this shouldn't take too long. Are we? We're
good.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm just going to jump to page 4. As Rob mentioned, these documents are posted on the website. So if you want to dig in later, feel free, and you can reach out by email if you have any other further questions. I'm on our statement of profit loss. So on the revenue side of things, you can see we've nearly tripled from 21 to 22. Obviously, 22 being a men's World Cup year, merch sales and both membership drive that Rob alluded to has contributed massively to our top line, which leaves us in a nice financial position this year. On the expense side, pretty simple. We've got three kind of main categories. First being cost of sales, and that represents cost of putting together membership packages, t-shirts, merchandise, scarves, our game day tifos, etc. So that's the bulk of our costs. There's a small amount for promotions and some general administration. So when you take those expenses off of our revenue, we're left with roughly just under $32,000 of profit in 22, which leaves us in a healthy cash position. I'll flip over to our next page here, and that's our statement of cash flows. So we ended the year last year with around 83K in the bank. With the strong revenue we generated in 2022, we used that to pay down some of our payables. So board members who chipped in to provide some funds to help pay for TIFOs and membership packages and merch, as I mentioned. That was the bulk of where our cash went in the year. Pretty straightforward here. We've got some taxes payable, which we didn't really have in years past. So, as we sell merch, we collect GST and we have to remit that to the government every year. So that explains that tax payable piece. And after, again, deducting those items, we ended up with just under $50,000 in the bank for 2022. And that's going to allow us to put together some items for 23, including potentially new scarves and TIFOs running up into the Women's World Cup and the women's home matches in 2023. That's really the high level 30,000 foot view. Again, if anyone has any detailed questions about the statements we posted online, feel free to reach out. I'll give it back to Rob.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Yeah, in terms of how to reach out, we do have a kind of a multitude of different ways. Probably the most direct way for anybody to reach out, and this is also posted on the AGM, in the AGM section on the website, is the email voyagerscan, voyagerscan@gmail.com. I check that every day. Jamie also checks his email pretty regularly, socceronly@gmail.com. You can email both of those if you want. There are several other more direct links to inquire about particular things that are on there. You can find the financial report and a whole bunch of other documents. A lot of these have been things that Al and Matt have been putting together over the last little while, but anything to do with our bylaws, roles and responsibilities of what is going to become our board of directors, the different corporate returns and filings, positions. There's a vice president position poster and a member at large position poster. We'll get into why we have those two on there pretty soon. And then a board of directors election process. The election procedure is going to kick off, we're hoping, on June 12th, and it'll take a couple of months. So we'll go through that in a couple seconds. If you have any governance specific questions, bylaws, elections, positions, there's a dedicated email for that. It's thevoyagersgovernance@gmail.com. I can't remember if I put that one on the AGM page. If not, it'll be there right after we're done here. There are other emails there if you need to contact us as well. Okay, so all those documents are posted. They're the kinds of things that every nonprofit needs to have available to members, as well as the financials. So if you have any questions about any of those, feel free to reach out, or if you're just interested, go have a look. They're there for members to look at. Okay. Board development and elections. So this has been a really big task to try and figure out exactly how to do this and exactly who is going to do what and why. We decided on a smaller board because the Voyageurs has been run as kind of an ad hoc committee by Jamie for years and years. We didn't think we needed a very large board. However, we also wanted to make sure we could ensure transition and kind of corporate memory in between those of us who have been working on the admin team and the board of directors as it's going to be formed in August or early September. So to do that, what we've decided is we are going to have 5 board of directors positions. they're the standard positions you would expect: president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and member at large. And for this year, only 2 of those will be elected, and they will be elected to 3-year terms. And going forward, everybody that gets elected to one of those positions will serve a 3-year term. That's how long that's going to be. To make the overlap work and ensure the continuity, 3 people are going to take interim positions. Nikki, who is on this broadcast, and Nikki Cotty and Sean Mann, who is also on this broadcast, are going to take 2 of those positions. Appointed for a 2-year term. Nikki is going to be secretary, Sean is going to be treasurer. Then the president is going to be a 1-year term, and that's going to be me. You guys are so lucky. So once 2024 rolls around, the president's position will be up for election. Once 2025 rolls around, the secretary and treasurer positions will be up for election. And then once 2026 rolls around, the 2 positions, member at large and vice president, who are going to be elected over the next couple of months, they will be up for election. And then every year, 1 or 2 people will be re-elected or elected, and away it goes. Did that make sense, you guys, or was I just rambling incoherently? Al's nodding. Thank you, Al. So for right now, we have 3 appointed people: myself as the interim president, Sean as the interim treasurer, Nikki as the interim secretary, and 2 people who we're going to need to find to run for those other 2 positions and be elected to those positions. Just so you know, Jamie's not getting cut out of this whole affair. Jamie's going to be the executive director, which is not an elected position. It's kind of like the first top not elected position. And of course, board to executive director to various committees and committee heads will have to figure that all out as we go. But in essence, as executive director is exactly as it sounds, kind of in charge of everything, so to speak. The board people, I guess, are going to be mostly involved with the high level stuff. But of course, we're all going to be getting our hands dirty too. I don't think any of us are going to not make TIFO or flags or, do that kind of thing as well. The election process, as I alluded to, is going to start June 12th. And you can follow along with that document that's on the website. It's quite simple. There's a nomination month that starts June 12th. It will close on July 12th. If you're interested in being member at large or you're interested in being vice president, the nomination forms and the descriptions of those positions are there. Also, the process by which people's nomination forms are evaluated. So it's not automatic that somebody puts in a nomination form and they're automatically considered for being able to run for a position. There are requirements. The requirements are all there. I think it's probably more efficient, if you're interested in that, for you to read them rather than us go through all the details. But they speak to whether or not you've been involved with the Voyageurs, whether or not you've been a member, whether or not you volunteered for things. And there are some other requirements. I think it's important, if you're interested in this, to both go read those things and reach out to us if you're interested. So that's kicking off a week from today. Nominations will open, and then people have a month to get their nominations in, and then the elections, nomination review and elections will follow in the month and a half or so after that. Okay, that's a lot of the nitty gritty. So the very last thing, official thing we have to talk about is volunteer opportunities. Now, this is an important push. We've been trying to build out some of these things as we were working on forming the board, which is a little bit herky-jerky, unfortunately, but it's worked out fairly well. I referenced Lucas Timmons and Rob Rutledge off the top. They've both volunteered for positions that we have really had a lot of need for. In Lucas's case, he volunteered to be the editor of the newsletter. When we started paid membership, we promised that we would have a regular newsletter, and we've never been able to deliver on that because we've been kind of up to our eyeballs and other things. Thank you, Lucas, for taking that on. It's a big job. He has some real skill and ability because of his knowledge and experience. And so if you're interested in helping him with the newsletter, he's looking for volunteers. So I just want to read you a statement that he sent to us. And if you're interested in being involved with the newsletter, you can get in touch with him directly, and I'll explain that right at the very end. So, call for volunteers. L'Aviron, the official newsletter of the Voyageurs, is looking for volunteers and submissions. We are putting together a small bi-monthly digital newsletter to highlight Canadian supporter culture and communicate better with the membership. The newsletter will focus on the national teams and the Voyageurs Cup. We will keep you updated on Voyageurs events, profile prominent community members, share some of your incredible photos, and keep you updated on our organizational governance. You can also look forward to interviews, lyrics to chants, and a look at our famous TIFOs. Are they famous? I hope they are. But most of all, we want this newsletter to represent you and the community. We are looking for your input. Do you have a story you want to tell? Photos you've taken that you want us to see? A new song you'd love to hear us sing? Do you want to write an essay about what it means to be a fan or share a special memory you've made in the community? Send them our way. Newsletter editor Lucas Timmons is looking for help from anyone who wants to be involved, be it in a recurring capacity or just one-time submissions. Please send him an email at newsletter@thevoyageurs.com and let him know you're interested and what you think you'd be able to contribute. So we've got a lot of big tournaments coming up. We've got World Cup, Gold Cup, CONCACAF Nations League. We know people are traveling to these. This is a chance for you to get some of those digital assets, pictures especially, maybe some stories about those events, traveling to places for those events, into our newsletter for the next edition. We're really excited about this. It's going to be a great representation and of what we do, and highlight a lot more of the stories that people don't get to hear. So if you're interested in that, newsletter@thevoyageurs.com, and that email address is also under the AGM tab on the website if you didn't pick up on it during this broadcast. Okay, that's newsletter. Second volunteer opportunity, membership. Rob Rutledge has volunteered to head this committee, and it's going to be responsible for a range of things that have to do with membership. Some of those are a little bit more interpersonal. Some of them are more kind of website oriented. Here's the list of the different tasks that committee is going to be tasked with. That was an Austin Powers moment, wasn't it? New member onboarding, game day and event member experience, membership communications and solutions. This is not necessarily super fun work, but it's something that we really need because it takes us a long time to respond to membership inquiries. And membership package planning and execution. So every year we're trying to send out a membership package to people who purchase a membership. That membership committee is going to be tasked with that as well. Anybody that's particularly interested in any of those tasks, be it answering membership inquiries or being the person who tries to introduce people to other people when we have events and game day things. If you're interested in any of that, I will put you in touch with Rob. You can email that voyagerscan@gmail.com email, and then I'll connect you and Rob, and you guys will go from there, and we'll hopefully fill out some spots in the membership committee. All right, last but not least, local organizing committees. We already have these to an extent. We just haven't really formalized and organized them. Nikki has decided to step forward and chair the oversight of the local organizing committees. These are really straightforward. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows what local organizing committees do in terms of Voyageurs. When there are games or other events on, they organize local watch parties. And then if there are home games there, they help out with organizing events and pre and post game and stuff around the games. So lots and lots of people stepped up to be local organizers. We're going to try and get a list of who you are, communicate with you a little more directly, and give you a little bit more direction as to what that is supposed to look like. So we have a dedicated email for that as well. We're going to reach out to quite a few of you anyway. So if you've started watch parties in the past and you've been the go-to person, we're probably going to get in touch with you. However, feel free to get in touch with us. The way to do that is by emailing voyagersloc@gmail.com. And that's how you'll get a hold of Nikki, and she will add you to the list and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you're, even if you're in a smaller community, people reached out from very small communities and they had a, local group, and it was great. It doesn't have to be, even a city as large as Regina. Some people reached out from some very, very rural communities. And I believe we had both the East Coast, I think we had several Newfoundland sites and some on Vancouver Island that were hosting watch parties for games in the last year or two. So that's great to see. It's wonderful when we can have 30 or 35 or 40 watch parties going on across the country. They would dovetail very nicely with submitting those pictures that you get at the watch parties to the newsletter. Guys, did I miss anything, or are we okay? That's the majority of the business end of all this. So I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. It's been really important stuff, and it's been a long time coming, so we really wanted to get it out there. Obviously, it's not party central when you're talking business side of the meeting. So everybody's very silent, so I guess we should be okay. One
Sorry,
final
I'm
thing.
responding to comments on the YouTube.
What are the
YouTube,
comments? Are there any questions?
Mostly that they love us, right? You all love us. A lot of commentary about the wine that I'm drinking. I felt that red wine was really appropriate, so that seemed good. And
did Roz
some volunteers who just
comment?
want to. Roz is not here. I'm in her stead. And some volunteer people who just want to reiterate the fact that they really want to help out, which is great to see. And thank you very much, guys. We love seeing your passion, and we know we're getting to it. We promise. So yeah, no, it's been great. So lots of positivity. Thank you all for being delightful in the comments. We appreciate it. And Rob, thank you for leading a good meeting. So well done, Rob.
Yeah. Well, I tried to keep it shorter than my usual blathering, so that's important. Anybody that has reached out recently to say I'd like to volunteer, we do have you on a list, and we will reach out again. It's just we have these 3 specific areas that are a little bit further forward in being ready to accept and direct volunteers, because we have people who are ready to and organized to be able to accept and direct them. So we wanted to highlight those 3, but of course there are going to be other opportunities. So yeah, stay in touch, and we'll try and stay in touch with you. One final thing, I have my Voyageurs Cup hat. Ooh, and I have my Voyageurs Cup patch. This patch is awesome. Look at that. And also a Voyageurs Cup pin. These are all for sale on the website. So if you love the Voyageurs Cup like we do, we think you should buy them all. Just saying, go there and buy stuff.
That's it, Rob.
Anyway.
And the AGM as a shill for our products. That's amazing.
Yeah, can't we use an AGM to hawk some merch? Anyway,
hey, Rob, can I
Jamie,
just
the
now because I
Voyageurs
said
Cup
merch.
final is in 2 days, so
Say that again.
I said the Voyageurs Cup final is in 2 days, so
Celebrate the magic of the Voyageurs Cup by buying yourself one of these magic hats. It's a really nice hat.
Use do the hats have, Rob?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like Frosty the Snowman, but I'm not sure what I turn into when I put the hat on. So, okay. Thanks,
Rob,
everybody.
Rob, can I just go in one more thing here? Just
you betcha.
Just on the governance thing.
You betcha.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate for the board of directors elections. We've got the governance committee I'm involved in, as well as Matt Surson, and we've got a couple of other people helping us out here. And the reason why we've got this set up this way is provide some rigor in the system, so that it looks, kind of more of a legitimate election, if you want to call it that. And we want to make sure that everybody who does apply to be nominated for the election is actually someone that is qualified and has the level of experience needed to be on a nonprofit organization's board of directors. So I think that's really important. That's why and Matt and I are not running for these positions, so we're taking a very neutral stance on this. So that's important. And also maybe I'll just leave something, kind of maybe a quick message en français. I think it's bonjour à tous nos membres québécois et francophones. On sait qu'autrefois qu'on avait une faiblesse avec la communication en français. On espère que ça change dès que maintenant. Je suis heureux d'annoncer que pour les élections, pour notre conseil d'administration, on a mis un accent sur la nécessité de voir au moins un membre de notre conseil qui est bilingue. Notre présence au Québec est très importante pour nous et les joueurs québécois et québécoises qui représentent nos équipes nationales. For the folks that don't speak French, I just wanted to say that one of the things that we really want to improve is our engagement with French members, and also making sure that we have at least one member on the board of directors who is bilingual. So something that we really want to emphasize going forward.
Yes, absolutely. And that changeover has been a long time coming too, but we're committed to it and we're working towards it. So yeah, thanks for that, Al. Those are both really good points. So
before we go, can I add a plug for around the organizing committees as well?
Absolutely.
So on top of the viewing parties, and we've actually started to establish quite a good list of people for those. We really want to get better at establishing a list of people to help out when games come to your city. So I know there's a lot of games happen in Toronto and Vancouver, but sometimes they happen in Winnipeg, sometimes they happen in other cities across the country. We're hoping maybe we'll see some of that more. So if you're in a city with a stadium where it's even just maybe a possibility someday there could be a game and you're down to help set up, there's a lot of help on game day. We're always like, who can we get into the stadium? Who can come? So if you're interested in that kind of thing, reach out as well and we'll get a list going for that as well. That's it.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks.
Sorry,
go ahead, Kristen.
One thing, just so for people in the comments on the YouTube page, and for Sean for pointing this out. If you're looking for documents, you're looking for the governance page, do make sure you're logged in under your Voyageurs account. Otherwise, you can't necessarily access everything because this is available to Voyageurs members, not just everybody. So just make sure you log in under your account, and then you can go to the About, you can see the AGM tab, you can see the governance page that has all the documents, that has all of our contact information for everything we've been talking about tonight. And also, Al, lots of compliments about your French. So I just wanted to pass that on to you. Well
Very
done,
nice.
sir. Bravo. C'est bon. And just thank you everybody for tuning in, and also for all of your interactions on the Twitters and on Instagram. It's fun talking to all of you.
Let me just add to something you said there, Kristen. Not only do you have to be logged into the website, but you have to be paid up. If your membership lapsed we allowed a lot of people who bought memberships in 2021 to just carry them through 2022. Part of that was because of our own lack of ability to be ready to redo membership renewals. So we just allowed them, quite a few people that signed up in May or June of 2021 ended up being able to continue being members until 2023 in February or March. And then we're kind of surprised that all of a sudden they couldn't access certain things. We had lots of people reach out and say, hey, how come I can't see this page? And then we tried to explain it that way, that, oh, it's membership renewal time. So if you haven't renewed, and that might be a reason that you can't see some of these documents and whatnot, some of these pages, even if you're logged in, because they are restricted to paid members. And that's how a lot of our stuff on the website and other things are going to go from here on forward. So, okay. Thank you very much, everybody. And thanks to the 5 of you that are here and the others of us that have been on the admin team, or whatever we want to call ourselves. It's been a lot of fun, but a lot of work too. And we hope that this sets us up for a really good near and not so near future. So reach out if you have any questions. check out the AGM page on the website and check out the Voyageurs governance page on the website. Everything that we've mentioned today is contained there, as well as contact information if you're interested in any have any questions or interested in any volunteer activities. Okay, happy Monday, everybody. See you